tremendous privilege, and it's a tremendous privilege to stand here before you and have a chance to speak with you. I promise what you're about to hear comes from the heart, and I think it will be very impactful. My sweet daughter Devorah, how I love you. We never could have imagined the splash that you would make. You were so quiet, so modest. Already so much has been done in your memory. Ambulance is being purchased for the local Hatzalah. The price of that was $200,000. I think we're only $55,000 short. There's going to be a push now to raise additional money to buy that ambulance for our local Hatzalah group. Several groups have participated in runs, raising money in Devorah's name for special needs children. A dorm room was dedicated for youth at risk in Migdal Or in Eretz Yisrael. There's a school supply gemak that has been established for families that are in need. Again, in Devorah's memory. Learning programs, Passaic, Clifton, Muncie, Lakewood, Brooklyn have focused on Midas and Lashon Hara. Numerous yeshiva and girls' schools have dedicated learning on Shavuos and throughout the year. So much has been done in her memory and continues to be done. And we can't express our karas hartov, our gratefulness to all of you. The gift of learning hours in Devorah's name is spiritual lifeblood. Can't express how much that means to us. We understand that people feel sorry for us, and we appreciate that. We appreciate your sentiments, but let's be clear, we would not trade our lot for anyone else's. Our sages teach that the Israelites, Bnei Israel, at Mount Sinai, saw myriads of angels, and it says that they envied their degolim. Degolim are like banners, insignia, flags. Klal Yisrael, they envied that. Rabbi Ephraim Lever, a noted lecturer, says, the Golem showed everyone where their position was and their place in serving God. When Klal Yisrael saw how the Malachim, how the angels stood, perfect formation, each one had pride in his position in serving God, and each one respected the position of his neighbor, and together they formed a perfect group in service of God. That's what Klal Yisrael envied. We want to be like that, Israel said. And the Midrash explains that God gave an extra devotion of love, an extra abundance of love to Israel, and he gave them their own banners. And we know that's what happened. We see that in the Torah. That each shevet, each tribe had its banner, and each group camped around the tabernacle in their place. And everyone had their position in God's service, and everyone respected everyone else's position in God's service. We all have our place. And each of us has our own fingerprint in God's plan in the Brios, in the world and the universe. We must all fulfill our own individual roles and assist each other in fulfilling theirs. Though our loss was great, we lost our dear young, beautiful daughter in a terrible tragedy, yet we're humbled and proud to have been selected to carry, to care, and to raise such an endearing, loving, fine, and genuinely kind soul. It's our tragedy and our loss, and we're further humbled by the opportunities this enabled us. But understand, we would not give it up for the world. You can see it, you can admire it, you could even shed a tear for it. But in the end, it's our tragedy, and we feel deeply privileged to bear it and serve God in this way, in whichever way we can. We all know raising children is very challenging, but raising special needs children is beyond words in its challenge. Every parent waits and watches and hopes eagerly for their child's successes, counting the days and hoping they'll hit their milestones. Will the child turn over from its back? Will it begin to crawl? Can it walk? Can it run? Can it jump? Can it talk? Our dear Devorah had a very peculiar crawl from the very beginning. She looked like she was a hurdler in a race. She would extend one leg far out in front of her, and then she would shimmy with her hands and push along. I remember my mother saw it and she said, "Something is wrong." And something was wrong. At that time, we couldn't imagine the challenges that awaited this poor girl. All the things that she would have to overcome to be a normal teenager and eventually a college graduate. Parents' anticipation is an amazing thing, non-ending, never dying, hoping forever in the success of their children, hoping and praying on their behalf that those children will hit their milestones. I want to shift gears just for a moment and talk about my dear Chavrusa, Marty. Marty, you're like a member of our family, as we've said, and has been said here already. And we have great, great expectations for you. Now, in case you don't know, Marty's a very sensitive man, a very passionate person, and he burns with a desire that the world should be a greater place, a good place, a just place, which is why he gives lawyers such a hard time. He's not one that can say no very easily. He's always looking out for the other guy to help those who are less fortunate or who are in need. Marty, we're watching you. We're holding our breath. We're hoping and praying you hit your milestones. Learning Aleph base, daily prayer, putting on your tefillin. We've begun to see you crawl. We're waiting to see if you could walk. Once you walk, we want you to run. A few years ago, you became a regular at our table. You were with us for many Shabbos, Shabbatones. You were with us for the holidays. You really became part of our family, and I know Devorah loved you very, very much. But in the past year or so, you've backed off a little bit, and it's part of the learning process. Every child has to go their own way a bit. So we're watching, we're holding our breath. We want you to come closer. We want you to dig in, start doing those mitzvahs, and to learn that Torah. We cannot do it for you, Marty. Every child must learn to walk on its own. And for the rest of you, don't think we're letting you off the hook. You see, we're all family here. God loves us. We're His special people. He's proved that to us. He gave us His Torah. He gave us His mitzvah. We're one big family. We all depend on each other. None of us can do it alone. We need each other. We need you. A typical child learns his lessons and he's off and running. Aleph base, brachos, his first siddur play, his first chumash, mishnayos, eventually Talmud. Sometimes God has a special child, one that kind of fell to the wayside, not by any fault of his or her own, one that was left standing watching as the others played on. That child may not be crawling correctly, may not be walking or saying his or her brachos. That child needs special attention, special care and treatment, like that which Partners in Torah provides. We are here, and we're waiting. We're holding our breath, and we're hoping and praying. We can't do it for you. Please, please crawl. Please, please walk. Please say your brachos.